South China Morning Post, 10th of November 2022, China's free trade talks with El Salvador show that Beijing is moving into the backyard of the U.S. China and El Salvador have said they will start free trade talks. This is a snub to Taiwan, which used to be an ally of El Salvador, and it could give Beijing a new foothold in a part of the world with past solid ties to the U.S. Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, tweeted on Wednesday that his country will sign a free trade agreement with China after speaking with Ou Jianhong, the Chinese ambassador to El Salvador. The Trade Ministry of China said on Thursday that both sides want to start talking as soon as possible. The statement from Thursday says, since the start of bilateral ties, the two sides have reached an important consensus at the head of state level to push for deepening all areas of trade and the economy and get rich results. In light of this, to learn more about the possibilities of two-way partnership, China and El Salvador want to start the steps needed for free trade talks as soon as possible and do everything possible to finish them as quickly as possible. After cutting ties with Taiwan in 2018, El Salvador opened formal relations with mainland China. Beijing sees Taiwan, which is self-governed, as a separate area that needs to be joined to the mainland. There are claims in Taiwan that the continent has used its economic power to get Taiwan's diplomatic friends to change their support for Beijing. At the moment, only 14 countries officially recognize Taiwan. Before, El Salvador tried to get out of a free trade agreement it made with Taiwan in 2007. But in 2019, the country's significant sugar business asked the court to stop the effort. Alex Cheong, a former professor of international politics at Taipei's National Chengchi University, said, "This is just part of a bigger plan to cut Taiwan off from the rest of the world. The mainland can help some of Taiwan's allies' economies, and Taiwan is not as strong as China." The U.S. has always been Central America's leading trade partner because it is close by and has political and business ties that go back to the Cold War. The way China is working with El Salvador is a warning to the Biden administration, according to Wang Weiqie, a foreign affairs writer from Taiwan. As part of a trade deal made in 2004, the United States agreed to lower tariffs with 5 Central American countries, including El Salvador. This group of countries became the 18th biggest trade partner for the U.S. regarding goods, with $57.4 billion worth of goods going both ways by 2018. China has free trade agreements with Chile, Peru, and Costa Rica. China also talks with 5 other Latin American countries about possible future deals. Because of a trade disagreement between the U.S. and China that began in 2018, high-tech trade between the two countries has been limited. Wang said that at the same time, Washington is not making any new trade deals with other countries. The U.S. should be more worried because Central and South America are next to the U.S., and China has been making progress there recently. Cheong said that trade with El Salvador doesn't significantly affect the economies of Taiwan or mainland China. The country, which has 6.5 million people and a gross domestic product of only $32 billion a year, is primarily poor and sells sugar, coffee, seafood, and low-value manufactured goods. Cheong said El Salvador could use mainland China's cash and infrastructure know-how. On Thursday, El Salvador's presidential office tweeted that China had given 900 tons of wheat flour to small and medium-sized bakers. They said this would lessen the effects of the economic crisis on Salvadorans.